Welcome, everyone, to our latest webinar in the Fall 1 series. This is Writing a Concise Case Study Analysis. I'm Dr. Basil Considine. I'm here from the ACU Online Writing Center, and I am joined by one of my colleagues. Sarah, would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Tabawada. I'm the multilingual writing specialist here at ACU Online, and I am so happy that everyone is here joining us for this awesome webinar today.
Now, we do have something to clarify, which is to say, who is who? So we have here a cat and a raven. So which one of these avatars corresponds to who? We'll have a poll later. All right. If you're new to the ACU Online Writing Center, we work with students in basically all of ACU's online programs. So if your registration says ACU Online or ACU Dallas, happy to work with you. We can come to us at any stage of the writing. You can send an email with a quick question. You can sign up for an email appointment where you just need to get your draft in with any special requests for feedback in by the scheduled time. And then we send you an email, usually within 24 hours, slightly longer if you're catching us over Thanksgiving break. And you can also sign up for Zoom appointments. Sarah, I don't take Zoom appointments. Do you?
I do take Zoom appointments, and Zoom appointments are really great. When we say any stage of the writing process, we really mean any. So if you're getting started and you literally have a blank Word document, you can make a Zoom appointment with myself or some of the other tutors that offer Zoom, and you can brainstorm with them. And hopefully, by the end of your Zoom meeting, you'll have an outline and some direction for where to go on a particular assignment that you're having a hard time getting started with.
Great. Now, what if someone is having trouble just getting some revisions in? They're like, okay, I know I need to fix my formatting and such. I know that I need to make sure I have topic sentence and everything, but I'm just having trouble sitting down to do that. Could I sign up for an appointment with you to just get a little prodding to do all those things?
Yes, yes, you could. We are we are great sparring partners. So if you're having issues, anyone having issues with whatever they're having issues with, make that Zoom appointment, because it just sometimes we just need that other person to help push us in the right direction or get our brain unscrambled.
Awesome. Now, if you haven't noticed, we're going to have a bit of a back and forth in this webinar. Sarah has graciously agreed to talk with me about case studies. And when I start writing this assignment that we're looking at, to give me a little bit of feedback, which may or may not include growling at me, and hopefully not include pulling out any feathers. So we're going to start with discussing how to write a case study. We'll look at a particular assignment from the NTRO program, and then we'll talk about some common mistakes and how to put these things that we're talking about into action through outline and drafting. Ready to hit the road, Sarah?
Yes, let's do this.
Great. So, how to write a case study? Before you begin with any assignment, but especially with a case study where you are trying to focus the reader's attention on something, make sure that you first answer each prompt directly and then come back with extra detail. If your instructor has put a series of questions, these are usually not intended for one word or one sentence answers, but to have okay, give us a big picture and then tell us more, convince us. And if you're writing about your own experience or observations, make sure to use I statements so it's clear who you're referring to. Use the language of the prompts so it's clear that you are responding to them. And have consistent word choices when referring to the same thing. Quick question for you, Sarah. So
Yes.
if I said that I told Alex what to do, and then I said I pontificated to Alex, and then I remonstrated to Alex, and then I invade about something to Alex. Does it sound like I'm talking about the same thing in all those?
It sounds like you're trying to talk about the same thing, but I would call that a little bit of SAT word vomit.
Okay. If you're not familiar with all those words, pontificate literally means to act like the Pope, which is one thing if you're trying to do something religious, but it has a connotation of really talking down. It's like, oh, this is how things are,
Mm-hmm.
fair or unfair. And inveighing has the connotation of protesting about something, complaining about it. And if these aren't specific meanings that you are trying to convey, it might be helpful to just use said, wrote, stated, and other things that don't bring in other meanings. Um,
Agreed.
Another good idea is to use the rubric and instructions for an assignment together to come up with an approximate set of headings or organization and to pre-plan the length of different sections. And now I'm not saying 152 words exactly, unless that is one of the specifications, but to say, okay, well, based on this, I'm going to take, roughly a paragraph for this and roughly a page on this other thing because they're putting an awful lot of points there. So let's talk about what case studies are for. You can use them for generating ideas and for gaining an understanding of the subject. In healthcare fields, case studies are often used to get an idea of, for example, how a particular disease might present, uh, to model different situations about positive and negative interactions with parents, for example. Also, a way of isolating or highlighting certain details to compare different things. That's usually a multiple case study. You can use it to dilute potential bias. Often a case study will anonymize the site that you're writing about or the person or persons who star in it and remove certain details so you're paying attention to things that you are the author wants you to. And also very much to illustrate ideas, whether these are theories, models, or other constructs, by applying them to a real world or real world ish situation. Now, this is something where we have a whole suite of webinars on that you can go ahead and visit these recordings at your leisure. But let's talk about some things that we don't want to do when you are showing that you understand a case study. A common mistake when you're doing case study analysis is to just have all summary. And the same mistake can be made when writing a case study. If you give people, oh, these things happen without a means for understanding it and analyzing it, then it's not going to be very helpful. We also don't want to report things without explaining their implications. So if you were to be describing a meeting and said, so and so raised their voice, well, what happened? Did people feel very uncomfortable? Did they laugh and then to say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and continue on? Did they get fired? Tell us more about what this means, what the implications are. You can also look at the length of what you're writing and say, okay, well, it's probably not going to be terribly helpful if your sentences are less than half a line because you can't really say a lot in that. And if it's very long, more than 3 lines of text, probably going to lose the reader and would be better suited for subdividing it. We also, and this is an important thing in writing as well as in case study analysis in particular, you don't want to bury the main idea or focus in the middle of a paragraph. Instead, lead with a topic sentence at the start of the paragraph. Some things that we want to do when writing a case study or a case study analysis: start with a concise summary of what the key issues are, and, if present, any opportunities. Tell us why this matters. If you're hiring someone, the stakes are different depending on what you're wanting them to do. If you are, say, hiring another retail employee and you have a staff of 100 retail employees, things are a little different that versus if you're hiring them and it's a team of just 3 people. You really need them to be dependable, even more so than normal, if it's a small team. And same thing can happen with management as well. And tell us what the big picture application is. What happens if this doesn't go forward or doesn't go well? And in short, tell us why this matters. And then it's very helpful if you're recommending improvements that you give us specific steps so that there's a clear plan for how you're going to do these things or how the person following up should do things. And if you're giving recommendations, that they're not recommendations just made on gut instinct or analysis, but that you ground them in citations from the literature to show, oh, hey, here are other people agreeing on that. Here's evidence to support that that's a good idea. Now, because you're sometimes writing about personal experiences, it's a good idea to revisit some of the APA rules about citations quickly. Sarah, if I were to ask you for a story about a cat that you owned, uh, would I be able to find a book published about that?
Probably not.
Okay. So if I was trying to refer that in APA style, would I have like a formal parenthetical citation and a reference entry for this where I got this information?
Highly doubtful.
Uh, well, I guess then we'll have to go by what it says in the slide, where if it's not published in the sense that this is information that's accessible to the public, we can't cite and reference it, but we should refer to it in text. So, for example, in the provided case study, Carl and Mary are, or Mary has a problem with, or my cat was very cute today, which made my roommate very angry. And so they threatened to kidnap the cat. And that is why they're not my roommate anymore, for example. So, when you're writing about events in the case study, let's be clear about past. Are we talking about something that happened before? Present, something that is the active or current conditions, or at least the current conditions as we're analyzing them? Is it something that is actively going on? Or is it something that hasn't happened yet? And depending on these, we might select past, simple present, present continuous, or future. We also want to be clear, are we recommending what should be done going forward? Stating what the ideal course would, that would be conditional past, as would have, should have, or conditional present, where we're talking about the conditions in which something might take place. Like Fred would need to complete 10 days of perfect attendance in order to qualify for the breakfast club. All right, at this point, we're going to take a look at a specific assignment instruction here. And I'm going to engage Sarah here for some guidance in reading this. So this is coming from the Nutrition and Wellness course, where there's a case study on water gains and losses. So we can look at all the information here together, and my eyes are starting to glaze over because there's so much text on this screen, and it's also kind of small on my laptop. So Sarah, I'm thinking I should just, give up and not work on this at all. Is that a good strategy?
No, don't give up.
What might I do? There's just so much text to look at all at once.
Let's just break it up into parts, right?
Yep. Well, I'm not sure that this plan will work, but we'll give it a try. So, all right, I see that there's a preamble. It's starting saying, oh, the purpose of this assignment is to help you understand how water gains and losses affect the body. Okay. And all right, 2 pages of instructions, one at a time. I guess I can do this. Read the brief case study below and respond to the prompts in an APA formatted 1 to 2 page paper. Do not respond to the questions one by one, but create a comprehensive response in which all questions are addressed. Be sure to include a reference page and in-text citations. So I'm having some trouble understanding this, Sarah. I think that the best way to answer all the questions will be to just make a numbered list and then just write like a sentence or so response to each one, right? That sounds like I'll be done fast that way.
Not exactly. That
Oh,
might be a good starting point, but we're not just responding to the questions, we're wanting to back it up with, as it says at the end of that prompt, by including references, your citing material in text, as well as including a reference page.
hmm.
So
Well, I'm not
maybe,
convinced, but
and
I'll try and bear with this. All right, we've got this case study here. Dylan is working a construction crew in the summer in Texas. She works a 6 hour shift in the afternoon. She also goes for a 5 to 6 mile run about 6:30 every day. She drinks several gallons of water every day. All right, sounds like a Texas summer. Does this sound like an appropriate amount of water? Too much, too little? Elaborate on your reasoning. Be sure to take into context other factors. Okay, so I see we have a bunch of prompts here saying to do specific things and to not just state it once, but to elaborate on it. Okay, all right. Well, how much time, like, how many words should I spend on each of these things? How will I know where to begin there?
well, let's start with the first question. How about we start
Okay,
there?
all right. Does this sound like an appropriate amount of water? Sure.
Why?
Uh, well, I've never drunk several gallons of water every day. But I've heard hydration is good, so I'm just assume it's fine.
Maybe we could find an article, maybe as part of our course reading for this week, that talks about the appropriate amount of water and what's too much and what's too little to back up our response.
Okay, let's see. Default of 2 liters for daily per capita water consumption. That's a lot less water. Do do do. Let's add some things in here. Running, Texas. That's a lot of water. All right, I'm getting a little overwhelmed here. I'm going to go back and look at the instructions.
Okay, that's a good idea.
All right, and I'm noticing we have this thing called a rubric that is specifying that there are certain things that need to be done to get full credit. And so we have the first question has 25 points, the second one, 25, and so on and so forth. And I think two of these are bunched together, but overall, I think these first three sections should be a little bit longer, and then the last two a little bit shorter. Okay, all right. Well, I'm trying to think of what I should make sure not to do. Can you walk me through what I should keep in mind before I start writing?
Well, you want to obviously keep referring back to the question so that you don't go off topic or go on a tangent.
Okay. Well, I was thinking I might write an essay on how much I love running marathons, and put that in there so I don't have to fill up the 2 pages with a whole lot of stuff based on the prompt. Does that sound like a good idea?
Um, it might be super interesting, but your professor might not appreciate that you went completely off topic.
Okay. Um, I feel like I have some strong thoughts about marathon running and water running. Can I just make some claims on that? Skip the references entirely?
No, the references are super important. You want to be backing up your statements, and as it's stated in the prompt, we want those in-text citations. Those are super important.
Okay, what about these topic sentence things? I feel like it seems kind of restrictive here to my creativity. Do I really need those?
Yes, think of your topic sentences as this is you informing your reader what the paragraph is going to be about. It gives them a heads up.
Hmm. Well, I'll have to keep that in mind. I'm going to pass over these briefly. So these are there for additional reference later. And oh, I see. Because we're discussing an actual assignment, and we of course can't write for the actual assignment. We have a modified version of this here. Would you mind reading this assignment out for the benefit of the group?
Sure thing. So in our demo assignment, we have Dylan working a construction crew in the wintertime in Alaska. She works a 6-hour shift in the evening, but first she goes for a 5 to 6 mile run about 6:30 p.m. every day. She drinks several Red Bulls and 4 Locos every day, and 2 coffees on the job. She has trouble sleeping and sleeps only 4 hours in the morning. Does this sound like an appropriate amount of caffeine?
Sounds legit
Too
to me.
much. I don't know. Red Bulls, 4 Locos, and 2 coffees on the job? I'm kind of
She must be well rested because she's sleeping only 4 hours.
only 4 hours. I would be operating on zombie mode.
All right, let's see. I need to discuss her water gains and losses, Dylan's caffeine intake impacting the body, overhydration, hypercaffeinemia. For those of you who don't recognize that term, emia means in the blood. So hypercaffeinemia means you have a really high level of caffeine in the blood. And hypernatremia, that's the same thing, but for sodium. So like getting in a lot of salt. All right, so I need to recommend what will make her healthy or keep her healthy as she works through the winter in Alaska. Um, all right, I think I can start this, but I was hoping that Sarah, that you would help guide me through this and let me know if I'm going off track because I'm easily distractible.
Sure thing, we can definitely do that.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and get things ready in Microsoft Word. And I've got a copy of our student paper template that I'm going to bring up.
A great place to start.
All right. I'm just going to replace these placeholders. Okay, I think I'm ready to get started here. All right, first off, I've got the instructions handy. I'm just going to make a little table at the top to hold all this information. That way we can refer back to it later. And because we had that list of things to make sure not to do, I'll paste that in. And so if you could let me know if I am not following them, I'd appreciate it.
Sure thing.
All right. Just for readability here, I'm going to do something we don't normally do and change our orientation to landscape. So we have a little bit more space here, but normally all of our paper should be in portrait mode. All right. Okay. So I'm just going to get started here.
Can I pause you real quick?
Yes.
What if we go back and look at the prompt? What's the first question that it asks us?
Does this sound like an appropriate amount of caffeine?
What would your response to that be?
Okay, I can do that. Dylan's caffeine consumption seems entirely normal and reasonable to me.
Why is that?
She works very hard, and in Alaska, you have to be on the watch for polar bears. Therefore, drinking coffee and other forms of caffeinated beverages seems a logical thing to do. There we go.
Now, could you back that up by citing a specific source that agrees with your statement?
Give me a moment.
Okay.
Okay, I've got a source. I'm going to add it here.
Nicely done with your in-text citation. That looks beautiful.
All right. So now I think I can go back to talking about myself here, right?
No, because this case study is about Dylan and whether or not we think she's drinking too much caffeine.
Okay. It's easier to write about myself, but I'll give this a try. Okay. Let's see. 4 to 6 cups of coffee are recommended for postmenopausal women. Well, we do not know Dylan's age or menopausal status. Okay. I think I'm done with that prompt there.
All right, what's our next question that we're answering?
Discuss your water gains and losses. What are the process which this occurs? I do not know how water gains and losses are regulated.
Maybe this is another thing that we can look up and find some sources that we can cite.
Well, I'm going on a writing thread here, so I'm going to see where this goes. Yeah, I think I've answered prompt number two. That was
Mm,
discuss water gains and losses and the processes.
not exactly.
Not exactly, but the sentences are really well written. I even have a topic sentence here.
True, but I think if we go back to our table, we've gone a little bit off topic.
Okay, let me do a little bit of quick reading and see what I can find. Okay, reading's done. I learned a lot. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm done with that.
Nice, let's go to our next question.
Let's see. What do water and electrolytes do for our bodies?
Yes.
Okay. According according to Red Bull,
Can I stop you there?
yes,
I think we're going off on another tangent. Just a little bit.
but I'm talking about electrolytes in water. That's what the instructions say, right?
Yes, but we want a slightly more reputable source than an advertisement.
Okay, let me see what I can do. Okay, I've found a source about Red Bull that I've read very quickly here, and it says that it has lots of electrolytes. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in place of Red Bull, the companies, for my citation. Is that good?
This is definitely a better source to use. let's go back to our question.
Okay.
So we know that Red Bull has electrolytes,
Hmm.
but according to the article, the electrolytes in Red Bull aren't really helping her because all the caffeine is counteracting it. So why are electrolytes important? Like, what are they doing for our body?
Oh, okay. Okay. I think I can follow that. Okay. There, I've explained what electrolytes do. Well, kind of, and that they're related to dehydration, and that drinking Red Bull is probably making Dylan dehydrated.
Nice.
All right. Let's see. How does Dylan's caffeine intake impact your body? Okay.
Well, but you said it was negatively affecting her in the previous sentence.
Well, it might have some small side effects, but I think you would agree that not being eaten by polar bears is a better.
I mean, I definitely don't want her to get eaten by polar bears, but I feel like this sentence is not quite on track. I think we've fallen victim to another tangent.
What?
I
How
mean,
is it tangential? I'm talking about caffeine impacting her body.
yes, but most of the focus is on polar bears, which don't have anything to do with our prompt.
Okay. Well, I suppose I could take this out here and maybe take this out as well. Would that improve the flow of ideas?
That would be a good place to start.
Okay. Might need to come back to this one. Let me move on to the next prompt.
Alrighty.
Okay, overhydration, hypercaffeinemia, and hypernatremia. All right. Uh,
I really like where this paragraph is going, except we've fallen through the rabbit hole again.
Wait, what?
So I love your topic sentence at the beginning, and I love that you define the different terms. But
Hmm.
now, if we go back to the question, we need to state which one we think Dylan is suffering from.
Oh, okay.
Wait a minute. Is she drinking a lot of water or a lot of caffeinated drinks?
Oh, back up here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're right. She is not drinking a lot of water. Hold on. Let me, and she's having trouble sleeping, which is a classic sign of hypercaffeinemia.
Nice. I like your recommendation. What would the benefits of your recommendation be to her?
This would allow her to reduce her caloric consumption, sleep better, and save money.
Nice.
Okay, I think I'm good on this one. What would I recommend for her to remain healthy?
So
Okay.
we've so we have one recommendation. Are there any others? Well, she already
Okay.
goes for a run.
Hmm. That might be a little hard on the knees. You're right. Let me think about that.
Mm, I think we're going down the rabbit hole again.
with this paragraph?
No, no. I like your recommendations, but we want to keep the focus on Dylan and your suggestions.
Oh, okay. I can do that. All right. Well, I think that I have written something for every prompt. So let me take a quick stop. We did number one, we did number two, we did number three, did number four, number five. All right. Should I just submit that? I think I can just delete this section right here.
Oh my God, no!
I'm trying to save paper.
It's okay. You will save paper. You're gonna submit it electronically.
Okay, what do I need to put here in the references section?
So in the references section, we are going to fully cite all of the sources you used to back up your claims within the essay.
Okay, well, I think I saved those bookmarks here, so let me go ahead and grab some of those. All right, we have this cite button. Ooh, can't, that's not something that I have here. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the ACU library. All right. Energy beverages. This is one of the articles I used. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. And oh, AMA, American Medical Association. That sounds great. That's very authoritative. Let me add that to my paper.
One moment.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure if we looked at the assignment prompt, it specifically stated APA.
but don't you want to listen to a doctor's advice?
But
All
I
right, let's.
think it's more important in this case that we follow the assignment
All right, let me
instructions.
go take a look and see if. Okay, you're right. I see it does say APA guidelines there. So I guess we should pay attention to that. All right, so back to the website. APA, okay, got that.
Wait, wait, wait. Are you sure you have APA?
Oh, you're right, that's Chicago. Here we are.
Ding, 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 ding.
All right, well, this is taking a little bit more work than I thought this was going to. But if I get a good grade, I suppose it's all for a good cause. There, I can just leave this right.
Um, Not quite.
But I copied it from the
But
library.
yes, but part of APA guidelines is that the sources be in hanging indent. Are you familiar with hanging indent?
Oh, I know that if I can just go to here and click on APA reference, I get a hanging indent.
Voila.
Okay.
What a
Yeah,
What other sources did you use in this paper?
a bunch. It'll take me a little while to add them all.
All right, that's good, but you just want to make sure that you do add them all. And then once you have them all listed, you want to make sure that they are in alphabetical order. That's important too.
Okay. All right. Well, I can work on that later. Uh, Let me go ahead and see what else we have on our schedule here. So we looked at this assignment. We discussed the relevant symptoms, and we made sure that we were following or not following the things on this list of don'ts, not going off on tangents, not writing things you don't need before things that you do need to have, avoiding unsupported assertions, making sure not to forget the topic sentences. All right, that's a good checklist to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you, Sarah, before we wrap things up here. Um, let's just say that I had this assignment that I wanted to submit it on Monday evening. Uh, if I went looking to make an appointment for help, I should wait till the last minute, right? So that I have the final form of the paper, and then if there aren't any appointments left, that's just luck of the draw, right?
You could go about it that way, but maybe a safer option is scheduling ahead of time. Students are able to schedule up to 2 weeks ahead, even if you don't have your paper ready yet.
Oh, so I could make an appointment for next week.
You could definitely make an appointment for next week.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that schedule then. All right. I'm seeing lots of colors here. I don't think I can get an appointment. Um,
So you want to look for the white spaces.
White.
Those are what's available. Anything that's white is up for grabs.
All right. So, let's see. Dr. Bradley. I bet she only works with doctoral students, so I can't make an appointment with her, right?
No, no, you can make appointments with anyone. And I'm pretty sure if you put your cursor over her name, there'll be a nice little blurb that tells you about her. Or sometimes there is. Oh,
Okay.
there used to be.
All right. So I could sign up for an
You
appointment
could
with.
definitely sign up.
What if I wanted to make an appointment with two different people at the writing center? Will they be upset at me for cheating on them?
They will not. In fact, we encourage that you make as many appointments with different tutors because we all have different specialties and are going to notice different things.
So what if I need someone to kind of just help keep me on track like we were doing today? Let me know when I'm wandering off.
Then you want to look with someone that has Zoom next to their name. We have special Zoom appointments available, and that would probably be the best so that y'all can talk through it together like we were doing for this appointment.
Oh, so I could sign up for a Zoom appointment with Christy here.
Yes, you definitely could. That would be amazing.
All right. Well, cool beans. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Sarah. Uh, any last things that we should share about how to contact the Writing Center?
Let's see. There's our email. We also have our new discussion forum where they can also ask questions.
Oh, awesome. And I suppose if I go to the Online Writing Center website, I'll find lots more details.
Lots more details, lots more resources.
Sounds good. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for this webinar. I hope this little offbeat exploration of how to read an assignment prompt and how to write a case study analysis has been helpful. We'll look forward to seeing you at the next webinar or at an appointment. Till then, have a good night.